right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Texas REIAs. I'm Shenoah Grove. I'm the founder of Texas REIAs. Excited to be here with all of you guys this Tuesday night. Every Tuesday we get together, we talk about real estate investing. We are Texans teaching Texans how to invest in Texas using strategies that actually work in Texas. That's one of the things that differentiates us in terms of what you'll hear from us over the course of the evening and what our history is. So all of the real estate deals that we've done over the last almost 2 decades have all been here in Texas. So we invest in Austin, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, as well as in San Antonio. And we're going to share with you some of the different things that we've learned over the many years of investing, just so you get an idea of what investing looks like, not just a year from now, not just 10 years from now, but closer to 15 years from now. In fact, I think we are one day away from celebrating I think it's our 19th anniversary as our 18th anniversary as real estate investors. Yeah, so it's actually our 19th. Yeah, it is. Yeah. No, 2003. Okay, yeah. So we just finished our 18th, so we're starting our 19th year. So we're excited to be able to share with you guys all that we've learned. Clearly, we need to work on the math part of our of that as well. That's pretty obvious. But we're going to share with you guys all that we've learned over this time investing in real estate, and also what we've learned helping other members of the Real Estate Investor Association. So we've been part of the Real Estate Investor Association since we first walked into the door of our first Real Estate Investor Association meeting in 2003. I'll never forget, it was hosted at a Mexican restaurant. Your price of admission was that everybody had to buy a plate of food for dinner and a drink. And there was a lot of lessons there. So we got to learn a lot about real estate investing, different strategies. We would have different investors come up and share stories. That was my first meeting that I got to go to, got to engage with other people that were not part of my past, but part of my future. So I left behind a career in corporate America and financial planning and analysis to pursue real estate. And I went full time in 2004, and I've not looked back since then. So that means I've not updated my resume since 2003. And I have not had to take a paycheck from anybody since then either. And it feels amazing. You can hold your applause. It's really no big deal. All right. Okay. 2 of you. Wonderful. I'm really getting through here. How many of you guys, well, let's turn it, it's not about me. It's about you guys. How many of you guys are ready to say, like, I don't want to work for someone else, or I want that additional income, or I'm looking for something different in life? All right. So that's what we're here to do. The same association is what gave me the ability to transition away from my corporate America job into working for myself, bringing along so many other people along for the ride. As a real estate investor, as an entrepreneur, I'm able to create economies. I'm able to employ people. I'm able to help people that I was not able to do when I was in corporate America, working in corporate America. And that's part of my journey. That's part of my purpose. And it's something that I've absolutely loved, to be able to build my own income, build my own wealth, but also help the members of this association do the same. Because if it were not for that first investor association meeting that I walked into back in 2003, I would not be where I am today as a real estate investor. That was where I got my first deal, and this is where I got my last deal. So this is a very powerful association in terms of getting deals, in terms of finding money, in terms of getting skills, in terms of getting trained, etc. So I welcome all of you guys here, and I want to just run the camera around the room. You guys can say hello. The camera's going to go this way, so you can actually wave when you say hello. If you want to invite some of the people that are online with us to join us here in person, you guys are welcome to join us here in person. Again, we meet every single Tuesday, and you can join us and get our schedule at texasreas.com/live, texasreas.com/live. And as we go through every meeting, we do a little bit of a mastermind session as part of every meeting, and it's a getting to know you mastermind. So this is where I'll ask you guys what you're here to learn, how we can be of service as part of the Real Estate Investor Association, and just kind of get some ideas from you about what you're thinking about, what you're planning for, and how we can serve. So I can't see your name. Let me see if I can get Joshua. So Josh. So hey, Josh, what brings you here? What are you looking to learn? How can we assist?
Always like real estate. I've done some property management, family different. This is something, get away from corporate America, get away from paycheck, and just start somewhere. And it kind of popped up on my feed, and so I was like, told my wife, so let's try it out. Let's just go see what it's about. And
Okay, so you said, yes, you got, then this is exactly where I started. So this is a local group of investors is where you want to be. So you were doing some property management, or you are currently doing some property management? Okay, got it. Yes. Okay, and construction right now used to do management for in multifamily. So you helped people make millions of dollars. I'm sure they thanked you a lot, didn't they, along the way? Yeah. So, and when they were done, they were gone. And typically they're only around for somewhere between 3 and 7 years. Most people are out by 5 when it comes to the multifamily investments. That's typically how long those bank loans are. And that's typically when they're looking to cash out to get that next deal, that next opportunity. So it's, you know, and I'll ask the question, are there any realtors in the room? Any realtors? Okay, realtors. Okay. So just full disclosure, licensed realtor and broker in the great state of Texas, license number 0518223. Don't sue me. I'm not your realtor. Yes, clear on that? Okay, wonderful. So realtors and property managers and insurance companies and mortgage brokers and title companies, they all get paid on page 2 of the HUD, or the closing disclosure document, right? Where do all investors get paid? Page 1. And where's all the money made? On page 1. And who picks up all the scraps? A bunch of people on page 2 got to split it all up between them, right? So the faster you're able to jump from page 2, and in truth, property managers don't even typically make it to page 2. But the faster you're able to make it from page 2 to page 1, the faster you're able to get results as a real estate investor. So I mentioned that I am a realtor and broker. I don't do any realtor business. The only reason why I maintain my license is because I still analyze every single deal that I do, right? So if my money's going out the door, I want to make sure that those numbers are verified. In fact, I went through the process of doing that today, and because no one's going to spend your money like you're going to spend your money. So it's nice to be able to have that ability to do that analysis and due diligence on your own. So excited to have you here. Excited to have you sort of back in real estate, and hopefully getting you to page 1 of the equation. And then your wife, Claudia. I like how you had to read her name badge before you said that. I'm sure, I don't... Yes. Oh, why? No. He's like, why did you not see? Well, because I don't have my glasses on, so I'm still fighting that. But yeah. So I'm gonna have to get uncomfortably close to you all to read your name badges. But Claudia, so Claudia has the international symbol of I've been drug here tonight. Can you guys know what that is? It's like this. Normally, the international symbol just looks like this. She's adding something special to it. She's holding her purse as well. We won't try to steal your purse. We won't even ask you to get out your wallet. So just want to make sure you don't worry about that. And I'm glad you guys are here together. So my husband and I invest together. And it is a beautiful kind of family thing that we do. In fact, when we were first starting to invest, or a few years after we started to invest, we had our first child, and on top of being able to invest together, we'd actually go like door knocking together, and we would race with the baby in the baby carriage. Now the baby got shaken a little bit, but he's okay. He's made it to almost 13, but it's just a fun thing to be able to do with your family members, with the folks that you love. And it's also, even if you're not doing it together, it's really important that the people that are part of your household, right? Your spouses, your partners, understand what you are doing, so at least they can support you, even if they're not taking part of it. And typically, the way that I see it working is that, the spouse will say, all right, you can go do this, and I'm going to continue, I'm going to be over here doing the real work, right? Continue to work, keep them the safety, security, clutching the purse, and that's okay, and that's smart, right? And then, but then what happens is, like, you make your first 50K, then you make your next 50K, and you're like a couple months in, and they're like, what was that meeting that we went to again? Like, hey, like, tell me what you're doing. And then they kind of start to open up, and then it becomes something that they want to do as well. So some of the members of the Real Estate Investor Association, Adrian Carrillo, for example, he was a teacher, and his wife was also a teacher. And I use the word, was, right, in the past. So, and then, hey, Tony, Hey, Tony, Phil's computer only has about 10% battery. Do you, would you come and just kind of check on that for me? All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. After about 3 months of investing in real estate, they had each made more in those 3 months than what they made in a full year as working as teachers. So, unfortunately, because they were, good, fantastic teachers, but they found something that they loved to do more and that was more profitable for them and something they can bring each other along for the ride as well as their kids too. So for me, the way that I'm bringing my kids along, my child along is he loves cars and dirt bikes and four-wheelers. So this is easy, right? It's like, you want more of those, right? Yeah, no problem. Hey, we just got to flip a house, right? You're interested in that? Then, hey, go do some stuff for mom and dad. And it's fun to be able to kind of bring, and I don't know if you guys have kids, and I'm not going to go any further. One I couldn't tell. What did this mean? Three. Okay. Oh, three. Okay. Three. So all girls. Okay. Good. Because dad's going to get more doors open for him if he's out with his three girls, right? Cause you look kind of intimidating. I'm just saying, I mean, you walking up to a door, but if you got three girls right next to you, it's like, oh, well, this guy must be, a Boy Scout because he's, three girls. Yeah, exactly. So, that'll definitely, do some service for you. So excited to have you here. Excited to have you jumping back in the game. And excited to be of service here to help. So the first investor association I went to is where I got my contacts, my contracts, and my contractors to be able to take those first steps as a real estate investor. So I look forward to sharing some of that along with you today as well. And let's see here. I have to get so close. So I'm so sorry. Zipporah. All right, awesome. What brings you here? What are you looking to learn? How can we help? You work for a real estate investor. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Okay. Good. So a lot of you guys have been making investors very wealthy. That's very kind of you. But now you're looking to do it for yourself, which I think is fantastic. It is catching. It is contagious, right? So I would say that over the years, most of the people who have worked for us in other capacities have said, hey, tell me more about this real estate investing thing, and what can I do as well? And it's nice to bring them along for the ride too, right? It's nice to share with them what works. So how much did the person that you were working with, how much did they open up to you and kind of share with you how they got their leads, how they ran their business, et cetera? A lot. Okay, so you ran the numbers. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, good. I think that's a big part of it. So it's nice to have somebody running those preliminary numbers, right? To kind of do a first pass just to see if we're even on the same planet. Because sometimes when we're working with sellers, we're not on the same planet. And in fact, I would say most of the time we're not on the same planet. How about any of his process for the marketing that he was doing to find deals? Okay, so I love that you ran the numbers, and I'm guessing you have some left brain tendencies. Is that correct? Okay. Everyone says both sides. Everyone's wrong. I'm very left brain, so I really dig deep into the numbers. It gives me both joy and security and assurance. So both of those things kind of feed me. But I will tell you, I think I love that you ran the number side, but I want to make sure that you understand how to find the deals as well. So sometimes when we take the left brain out, some of my left brain people don't feel comfortable leaving the computer. Like they want to do all the research. They don't feel comfortable enough sort of getting out and maybe in front of someone and talking to people. So that's going to be part of the process as well. One of the things that we train on is something that we call the exactly what to say for the real estate investor. And are any of you guys looking for any holiday break reading? Okay, a couple of you guys. May I recommend a book that and an author that I've just really fallen in love with. I started reading him about 3 years ago. His name is Phil M. Jones. Phil M. Jones. He wrote the book Exactly What to Say. It has about 23 different phrases in it that make closing and selling effortless. A few years after he wrote that book, he wrote the book, Exactly What to Say for the Real Estate Agent. Yes, now my agents are like, oh, okay, now I'm listening. Now you have my attention. And for those of you guys in here are saying, okay, and then a couple of years after that, did he write the Exactly What to Say for the Real Estate Investor? No, he did not. Okay. I did, however. But I'll tell you, the things that we encounter, the things that realtors encounter are in many cases very similar to the things that real estate investors encounter. So there were about 7 more closes, and in the back of the book, there's something called a field guide. So what to say in each of these individual situations that we run into as both realtors as well as real estate investors. So he's not written the Exactly What to Say for the Real Estate Investor, but I've taken everything that he has and I put it into play for how I use it as a real estate investor. And then for those of you, so that book is the Exactly What to Say. If you're a fast reader, 2 hours. If you're a slow reader, 4 hours. Exactly What to Say for the Real Estate Investor. If you're a slow reader, maybe 4 hours. Fast reader, maybe, a slow reader, maybe 4 hours. A fast reader, a slow reader, 5 hours. A fast reader, 4-ish. Okay, that's finally got that one right. But for those of you guys who are who are my Audible people in the room? Okay, good. All right. So how many of you guys have downloaded the book, Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss? Okay. One of the probably best negotiating books out there. Yeah, you guys agree? Yes. Yeah. So this guy, Chris Voss, had his career as an FBI agent, if you will. He was in charge of terrorist and hostage negotiations. And for some of you guys who are saying like, I'm at a real estate meeting, why are we talking about terrorists and hostages? If you're thinking that in your head, then I will tell you it's pretty obvious to me that you have never talked to a motivated seller. Because sometimes it is, and just like talking to your kids, sometimes it is like talking to a terrorist, right? Sometimes you feel that way. No, not you. You have 3 girls. You don't feel that way yet. Okay. But for some of us with some boys on hand, that you can kind of feel that way. But he goes through, it's a great thing to listen to on Audible because he gets to tell some of his stories of hostage and terrorist negotiation, which is both fun to listen to and great lessons at the end of it. So as part of, again, what we call the Exactly What to Say for the Real Estate Investor, I took the best of the best from Phil Jones. I took the best of the best from Chris Voss and put it all together for everything that we do in real estate. And I'll just tell you, guys and gals, that this works also in relationships with both significant others as well as with children. I did make the mistake of bringing our son with me to go and do a Chris Voss training at a 2-day on-site training. I did bring him because he loved to listen to the Audible with me. And, even like his teachers would just like randomly come up to me and say like, your son is a really good negotiator. And some of the skills he got from Chris Voss. So if you're looking to up your skills and you want to listen to something or read something over the holiday break, I would say Phil Jones. That is kind of, and I'm gonna call him like the high school diploma. Although I don't want to undervalue him by saying that, but it is like these are some of the foundational things that you'll want to know. But then the Chris Voss stuff, like that's like the PhD ninja stuff, which sometimes we need that, especially in the market that we're in right now, where we have a little bit of competition with other investors, where we have a competition with other homeowners, we have a competition with iBuyers and hedge funds, and then of course competition from everyone who's moving here from California, who now that I said that, no one will admit that they just moved here from California. That's okay. We'll find your license plate in the parking garage when we leave. I'm kidding. So let's see. I'm going to just get out of frame here. So let's see here. Samuel. Hey, Samuel, what brought you here? What are you looking to learn? How can we be of service?
I'm just trying to expand my knowledge in real estate. My mother-in-law owns 2 properties, and we property manage them, but she never paid us or anything. But I look at it more as like as a learning experience.
Absolutely.
Dealing with pretty crappy tenants.
Okay. Okay.
And I just see the opportunity, and I want to expand my knowledge and just learn as much as I can.
Okay. So that's awesome. So your grandma made you do it.
No, I made myself do it.
It was
No, I'm talking about my mother-in-law.
your mother-in-law. Okay. I'm sorry. Your mother-in-law made you do it. So, so Samuel said, just in case for those of you guys who are not getting this, Samuel said that his mother-in-law owns 2 properties. Samuel's been property managing it with or for her. Or is that for her? Okay, yeah. Whenever she asks us to, or whenever she wants to go on vacation too, right? Yeah. Yeah. So, it's so funny. I'll tell you, the first deal that I ever did was with my mom. And I'm actually a 4th generation real estate investor. My great grandparents owned over 40 properties. My grandparents owned over about a dozen properties, and my parents still own about a dozen doors to this day. And my mom just turned 70. So it's been beautiful to kind of watch that. And I'll tell you that my mom has and I love my mom to pieces. She's the most beautiful, sparkling, amazing person on this planet. But she has she has this is a tiny little bit of a scarcity mentality. And the way that I'll identify that is that she property manages all of her properties. And so that provides a little bit of stress and strain for her, because she knows all of our tenants, and tenants all know her. And sometimes having that third party kind of coming between you is actually very helpful when it comes to managing property and not kind of getting in the middle of things. And I will tell you that when she was, she loves to travel. Like, she goes on these walking vacations, like she did the Camino de Santiago. Has anybody ever heard of that or ever done that walk? Okay, some of you guys have done that walk or heard of this walk. It's about a 30-day walk. It's a pilgrimage across Spain. And every time she would do, this is her joy. She'll go on these 30-day vacations. Every time she would go, she'd say to me, Shenoah, hey, would you mind kind of looking out over my properties, while I'm gone? All the tenants are great. Everybody pays on time. Should be not a problem at all. And for several years in a row, I fell for this. Even though I wasn't managing any of my own properties, I'd hired a property manager to do it. I wanted to help her out, right? Because she's my mom. And inevitably, something would always happen when she was on a trip. And one of her trips, her tenant put a candle in a bookshelf, and the back of the house caught on fire. And I was faced, and I want to get y'all, I'm going to take a poll here. Mom is in Spain, walking across Spain in a backpack, okay? And she's reaching out or emailing, every, couple days or so, just say hello or just tell me about her adventure. Do you tell mom or do you not tell mom? Don't tell her. Don't tell her. That was my strategy as well. Okay. After I went to the house, so I'll tell you the funny thing about this happening, and I'll not forget this day, because it was right after, it was in May, and I'd just done a triathlon, and I just got a PR, personal best, right? And I answered the phone. I was like, hello. I was full of joy. I was so stoked, right? And I get on the other line, and I'm like, oh, great. This was not what I was thinking it was going to be. So it was one of my mom's tenants. And she said, that the house caught fire. And, of course, I'm like, is everyone okay? Yes, everyone's okay. And I'm like, oh, thank God. And I'm thinking, what am I going to say to my mom? So my mom's another 2 weeks out on this trip. So there's not even a way for her to come back. And so I'd asked her, the tenant, when I was talking on the phone with her, I said, well, did how did you guys, find the fire? Did the smoke alarm go off? And she said, no, the smoke alarm did not go off. And I thought, oh, this is not good. And then, and I said, and she was asking me kind of all these weird questions. And at one point I really, kind of got something's fishy here. And I said, well, I'm going to talk to the fire chief that's there and just kind of get an idea of what caused it, everything like that. Cause she was like, I don't know what happened. And, so I get there, and he said, she had a candle in a bookshelf from IKEA, which IKEA is Latin for highly flammable. I didn't know if you guys were aware of that, but IKEA is Latin for highly flammable, and this bookcase became highly flammable. And then when I talked to the police, or when I talked to the fire chief there, he showed me the smoke alarm. And what do you think the smoke alarm looked like? It was melted. But and in what way was it melted that told me exactly what had happened here? How many of you guys are guilty of taking the batteries out of the smoke detector? It's okay. Yeah. It's because going off all the time is driving you crazy when you're cooking. Is that roughly right? Yes. It's beeping. It's being annoying. So the way that the smoke detector had melted, you could see that there was not a battery in there, that they had taken it out. So these two things had happened. It kind of made it an interesting story. So my plan was exactly to do exactly what all of you guys recommended, which was don't tell mom while she's on vacation. Now, the insurance company, well, they had other ideas. So the insurance company is emailing my mom while she's, walking across Spain. Yeah. So then my mom calls me. She's like, hey, what's going on here? And I got to kind of tell her a little bit about what had happened, but I got everything kind of moving forward. And then of course the big thing was that everyone was safe. So it is, so I don't know if your mother-in-law has those same strategies, like, hey, my tenants are great. Everything's wonderful. No, she's upfront with you. She tells you her tenants are not great. She doesn't have to tell you because you're the one doing it. All right. Yeah. So I will tell you, what's one of the top marketing strategies that we use as real estate investors? Word of mouth. What else? In relation to this exact story, what's one of the top marketing strategies? There's a couple that could come out of this one. Screening. What else? Who do we like to advertise to? Landlords. Why? Because if you're managing your own property, the odds of you getting burnt out, literally and figuratively, right, are very high. Right. But if you have a property manager that's kind of taking all the, the blows and the hits in the front end, your likelihood of getting burnt out is much lower. So one of the things that we suggest is to market to landlords that are typically more the one-off landlords. So not a lot of, so doing all of the property management themselves, right? So they have to bear all of this weight. And then what's the other marketing strategy you can take from this? Who do you want to market to? Who's more ready to sell a house, a landlord or a landlord who just had a fire? A fire. Yeah. You can get a list of the properties that have recently caught fire. What do you think the odds are that someone's going to want to sell a property with a tenant in it that recently caught fire, right? So combine those two lists, and then you might have the perfect list, find the perfect landlord who's really ready to sell their property at this point. But the truth is that my mom, my family, myself, we believe in holding, and we believe in holding for the long term, because that property that's partially burned down, I want to say she bought it for $150,000 today. The lot alone's worth about $500,000, not even with the house on it, or half house, however you want to. That's a joke. She built it back. So lots of opportunities to invest in real estate. It's great to be a property owner. It's great to own property because, especially in the market that we're in right now, how many of you guys have seen the values on your own homestead, right, go up, maybe double just in the last 5 years, right? And what does that make you wish? That you had 10 more of those properties, right? So and that's a secret to really building wealth, right? To be able to hold on to properties in between market cycles. That's what our coach told us. We started investing in 2003. We wanted to both create income as well as wealth. So we kept as many as we could afford to keep, and we sold just enough to fund our lifestyle. So that's one of the secrets of making it in real estate, being successful, not just creating income, not just creating a job where the income stops when you stop, but also really creating that wealth. So, all right, guys, thank you for joining me for that. And I'm going to go ahead and let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and pull up our presentation with the market up